Hey, I was just going to clear the air of like what really happened, and because everybody like making it seem like I just was like just posting my jewelry, just making it seem like I ain't give a fuck about his death, whatever the case may be. So boom, we was at a tourist club. We left that tourist club because it was closed. We went 4 minutes down the road. We still thinking that this is a tourist area. When we get to the club, the people I'm with, the shorties I'm with and shit like that, they're like, yo, bro, this is not no tourist club. Like, we need to get the fuck out of here.
Rats and shit. They ground. Really ain't had no motherfucking rats.
This vacation was meant to clear his mind in Puerto Rico, but it quickly turned into a nightmare that would never end. 21-year-old Vettel Alexander Emmanuel Smith, better known in Florida's hip-hop circles as Scoot Banks, lay dying in a Puerto Rico hospital after masked gunmen ambushed his Uber at 1:16 in the morning on February 2, 2026. But here's what makes this story even more chilling. One of his friends who survived the attack says this wasn't actually a robbery at all. So what really happened that night in Santurce? Scoot Banks wasn't a household name, but in West Orlando's underground rap scene, he was building something real. Born around 1998 or 99, Banks represented everything gritty and authentic about Orange County hip-hop. His stage name itself told you everything you needed to know about his hustle. Scoot for the quick moves, Banks for the money he was chasing.
But shit, you know, a nigga just grateful to be on that motherfucker at this point, you feel me? I feel like all the artists out of Orlando snapping, you feel me?
Everybody snapping, man.
Just to be,
everybody doing their thing.
You know what I'm saying? Just to be mentioned in that little top 10, you feel me? It's just what it is right now.
Just trying to show love to everybody in the city, you feel me? The whole little city finna be on the map real soon now.
That's Scoot Banks himself, speaking in an interview from about 7 years ago, back when he was still hungry and grateful just to be recognized. And he had reason to be grateful. By 2018, he dropped his debut single Another Day featuring JayDaYoungan, and the track was doing numbers. But it was his collaboration with JayDaYoungan in 2019 that really put him on the map, helping him rack up millions of views before he even turned 21.
Well, bro was already with me from when I had dropped that True Color shit. You feel me? Me and bro was already in like contact and shit, me and JayDaYoungan. Shout out to that boy 2 times forever, you know what I'm saying?
City finna be on the map real soon now.
And G.
Most definitely. I feel the same way. Now, just off the little bit of time that we've been interacting, I see our relationship and everything. It seems like y'all pretty tight, y'all pretty cool. There's not really a lot of secrets that y'all keeping between us. Just how long y'all been rocking out with each other?
Shit.
No, we've been rocking out
for a
little
minute. For a
Yeah,
little minute, you know.
Me and little bro, you know, we be in the studio. We just, feel me, here, nigga, we just vibe. You
Fuck what I'm doing with.
G,
feel me? Brother shit, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie to you.
So it started off on some music shit. That's what y'all first connection was through music and shit like that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Basically.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I knew Scoot, you feel me, for a little minute through that IG and shit. He lost his account, Brad, how many followers. He had a lot of juice on that shit, so you feel me? When I started taking that shit serious, we had linked up.
Okay.
My producer Nugget and shit, so
okay. All right, y'all both born and raised in Orlando?
Yo, West Orlando, straight out of Tangelo.
West Orlando, already.
Tangelo Park shit.
Okay.
Banks was methodical about his career. He wasn't interested in flooding the streets with music just to stay relevant. He wanted longevity, versatility, something that would last. By 2026, he'd transitioned more toward entrepreneurship while still dropping tracks here and there. His catalog included albums like Another Day in 2018 and Zantalk in 2020, showcasing his evolution from raw street narratives to more polished, introspective work. But by late January 2026, Banks needed a break. The grind was weighing on him, and so he did what a lot of people do when they need to clear their heads. He booked a trip to Puerto Rico with his friends, looking for what he called a peace of mind. The group arrived around January 30th, and for the first couple days, everything seemed fine. They were tourists doing tourist things, enjoying the vibrant nightlife of San Juan. But according to one of Banks's friends who survived what happened next, there was an incident on February 1st or early February 2nd that would set off a deadly chain of events.
The day of the incident of that shooting, an incident happened where these niggas was going back and forth with some niggas out there, and they already had problems with them. Boom, boom.
The friend describes an altercation with local Puerto Ricans during the daytime, some kind of back and forth that supposedly got resolved, but clearly didn't stay resolved. The specifics remain murky, nobody saying exactly what went down, but social media comments emphasize one universal truth. When you're in someone else's territory, they have the home field advantage. But here's where the story gets complicated, because police reports don't mention this altercation at all. What they do focus on is what happened later that night at a place called the District Gentlemen's Club in Santurce. Santurce is one of those neighborhoods with two faces. By day, it's vibrant, artistic, full of culture and energy. But at night, especially in certain pockets, it can be dangerous, particularly for tourists who don't know the unwritten rules. And one of those rules is simple: don't flash what you have. Banks and his crew spent the evening at the strip club, and according to multiple reports, Banks was doing what a lot of people do when they're feeling themselves in the club, showing off jewelry, throwing money at performers.
We was out there for 2-3 days, and I had all my jewelry on. We was throwing money, we was doing whatever we was doing for these 2-3 days, and nothing happened.
But something about this night was different. The friend who later spoke out says they initially went to a tourist club that was closed, then drove 4 minutes down the road to another spot.
So boom, we was at a tourist club. We left that tourist club because it was closed. We went 4 minutes down the road. We still thinking that this is a tourist area. When we get to the club, the people I'm with, the shorties I'm with and shit like that, they're like, yo, but this is not no tourist club. Like, we need to get the fuck out of here.
Red flags were going up, but they stayed anyway. And the friend noticed something else.
People in the club, where the section that we were supposed to be in, there was 4 niggas over there. And they was watching us the whole time. I had the biggest chain on. Like, these niggas knew I had my jewelry on. These niggas knew I had my watch on, everything.
Around 1:10 a.m. on February 2nd, Banks and his group left the club and climbed into their ride, a gray 2022 Toyota Sienna Uber driven by a man named Victor Cruz. The group included 4 men and 4 women, all just trying to get back to wherever they were staying. They had no idea they were being followed. At the intersection of Roberto H. Todd Avenue and Manuel Fernandez Juncos Avenue, near stop 18, everything went wrong in a matter of seconds. Another vehicle rear-ended the Uber, and when Cruz stepped out to check the damage, masked men emerged from the other car. Cruz was immediately assaulted and beaten, taking blows to various parts of his body. Terrified, he did what anyone would do. He fled on foot to the nearby Santurce police station, leaving his passengers behind in that Uber with armed men surrounding them. This is where the friend's account gets really specific and really disturbing.
When we got out the club and then they surrounded the car and shit like that, they knew I had jewelry on. They did not come for no jewelry. They made it seem like it was a robbery.
According to this survivor, the attackers saw his jewelry, saw his watch, saw everything he was wearing, but they weren't interested. They asked about jewelry for maybe 1 second, then moved on to their real objective.
These niggas came for one reason. When they let off the shot, it was for one person. It was not for the person that passed away. Woo, woo. You feel me? Like,
the friend is claiming that Scoot Banks wasn't even the intended target. The bullets that killed him were meant for someone else in that car who had been involved in that earlier altercation from the daytime. But when the gunfire erupted, it was Scoot Banks who took a fatal shot to the chest. His friend, Nicholas Bowman, also from Florida, was hit in the right arm. With the Uber driver gone and bullets flying, one of the female passengers took control of the vehicle and drove straight to Pavia Hospital in Santurce. Dr. Grisel Torres tried to save Banks's life, but the chest wound was too severe. He was pronounced dead at the hospital. Bowman survived with his arm injury and was listed in stable condition. Now, police classified this as an armed robbery, not a targeted hit. Preliminary reports from the San Juan Criminal Investigations Corps' Homicide Division, led by officials like Agente Jose Flores Santos and prosecutor Melba Lopez, focus on the robbery aspect, the rear-ending, the assault on the driver, the demands for valuables before shots were fired. But the friend who survived keeps insisting that's not what this was about.
if it was about jewelry, why the person with the most jewelry on still got his jewelry? It was not about no jewelry. It was not about no throwing money. It was about the incident that happened earlier that day.
He even posted pictures of himself still wearing his jewelry after the shooting, trying to send a message to everyone speculating online this wasn't a robbery. But that post backfired spectacularly. People thought he was bragging, thought he didn't care that his friend had just died, thought he was more concerned about his chains than about Banks's life.
Rest in peace to School, and I didn't want to make it seem like, oh, I'm posting my jewelry and this, that, forth. I was trying to hint to everybody it's not about no jewelry because these niggas see me with my jewelry on. They did not take my shit.
So what's the truth? Was this a robbery that went wrong, or was it retaliation for an earlier beef that caught Banks in the crossfire? Police haven't confirmed any connection to a prior altercation, and as of today, no suspects have been identified or arrested. What we do know is that Banks's mother had to identify his body at the Institute for Forensic Sciences, confirming that her son had no criminal history and was simply on vacation with friends. This isn't an isolated incident. Banks's death is part of a disturbing pattern of tourist violence in San Juan that's been building since late 2025. Just 3 days before Scoot Banks was killed, on December 30th, 2025, another Florida tourist named Nathan Joel Castro died in eerily similar circumstances. Castro, 40 years old, was in San Juan celebrating his birthday when a fight broke out outside Monasterio Bar on San Sebastian Street around 12:41 a.m. Surveillance video captured the tense moments before gunfire erupted, showing 4 men in a confrontation that quickly turned deadly. Castro was shot and pronounced dead on the scene. His mother, Yvette Taspanis, described him as someone whose laughter touched everyone who knew him. 5 people were initially detained, including 3 women, 2 of them were minors. Police conducted raids and interviews, and investigators say the case is on the right track, but as of last reports, only 2 remained in custody, with no charges specified. Then there's the case of Omar Padilla Velez, a 33-year-old chemist from Philadelphia with Puerto Rican roots. On January 3, 2026, Padilla Velez was visiting family with his fiancée, Kelly Crispin, when they made a wrong turn after leaving a club around 1:45 a.m. They ended up on Calle Blanca and Calle La Nueva Palma in Santurce, where over a dozen masked gunmen with AR-style rifles surrounded their car. Gunfire shattered the vehicle as Padilla Velez tried to escape. He was shot in the head, and a bullet fragment caused a fatal stroke days later. He died on January 22, 2026. Crispin was wounded in the hand, shoulder, and grazed on the head. The attackers briefly searched their car but took nothing once they realized a woman was inside, then directed them out of the area. Crispin has been vocal about demanding justice, criticizing the lack of media coverage and the fact that police didn't visit the crime scene for 5 days. No arrests have been made in that case either. 3 tourists from the US mainland, all killed in San Juan within a span of just over a month, and these aren't even the only incidents. In August 2025, Kevin Mars, a 25-year-old from New York, was fatally shot in La Perla while attending a Bad Bunny concert. A suspect was eventually charged in that case. In July 2025, a 17-year-old from Maryland was killed in Isla Verde after an altercation on the beach. Local media outlets like El Nuevo Dia report that there's no evidence of an impact on tourism perceptions, and Puerto Rico generally remains a safe destination for visitors who take basic precautions. But these cases highlight very real dangers in specific neighborhoods, especially at night. The warnings on social media have been consistent and blunt. One comment on a post about Banks's death reads, "He broke rule number 1 for a flex and it cost him." Another says, "Never go to another country flexing." And another, "You cannot go to a place that you are not from and get into an argument, especially another country." Safety experts emphasize basic rules for tourists in Puerto Rico. Don't display expensive jewelry or cash, use licensed transportation, stay in well-lit populated areas at night, and avoid neighborhoods like certain parts of Santurce and La Perla after dark. Some even advise treating red lights as yield signs at night in risky areas and being extremely cautious on rural roads. The U.S. State Department rates Puerto Rico at level 2, meaning exercise increased caution, which is comparable to many major U.S. cities. Police presence is strong in tourist hubs like Old San Juan and Condado, but funding shortages limit coverage in other areas, particularly those still recovering from the infrastructure damage of Hurricane Maria.
If not obliterated, the island's electrical grid, leaving many without running water and without power for months, almost a year in some cases. And as we find ourselves at the peak of hurricane season, questions remain if the state can still count on government response to a disaster given recent FEMA changes from the past few months.
Back in Orlando, the hip-hop community is mourning Scoot as an Orange County legend, someone who represented the authentic grind of the underground scene.
Now, Scoot, I was checking out your YouTube profile and everything like that. You got a, I wouldn't say a small catalog. It just seems like you're more choicey with your selection of what you let your fans see. You know what I'm saying? It seems like you take a lot of time and thought before you go and execute something. Tell me a little bit more about that.
You're right. I do pick and choose what I'm gonna drop, only because right now I'm not worried about flooding the streets with just music right now. I'm worried about showing versatility, you feel me? Because at the end of the day, it's about longevity in the industry, you know what I'm saying? Not just about song after song, but right now I done grew my fan base to the point to where now I could just flood them, you feel me? I could just flood them how I want with whatever I want. It could be a video, a single, audio, that bitch gonna do numbers regardless, you feel me? That's where it's at right now. So right now I'm working on videos right now that I can start flooding, you feel me? But yeah.
Okay. Now, I see you had a record with Jada Young. Can you just talk to me a little bit more about how that record came together and things like that, how that feature came together?
Well, bro was already fucking with me from when I had dropped that True Color shit. You feel me? Me and bro was already in like contact and shit, me and Jada Young. Shout out to that boy 2 times forever, you know what I'm saying? He did a show in Coco, and you feel me? I got it, you feel me? I hit him on some shit like, you might as well come, you feel me, drop this little verse on the little song I got for you, open verse with the whoop. Bro pulled up on me in the hood and shit. You feel me? He came to the studio, dropped the little verse, you know what I'm saying? Whoop the whoop, it was just all love, you feel me?
Okay, so it wasn't even really on no, like,
no
just
like,
internet, just on the internet, sending verse type shit, like it was more like really just in the field, bro.
That's what he said 7 years ago, back when he was just starting out, grateful to be recognized. He wanted to put Orlando on the map. He wanted longevity in the industry. He wanted to show that versatility could carry a career further than just flooding the streets with music. But at 27 years old, on a vacation that was supposed to clear his mind, Vettel Alexander Emmanuel Smith's life ended in the back of an Uber on a San Juan street.
I'm in the studio right now, free time. Think about my nigga though, don't listen. Like this shit wasn't in the blueprint, like this shit wasn't in the plan. Like, bring the love to the trenches, part this bitch and jump out with that pump. Seen a nigga bad for his life, he should've just gave it up. Gossip like a bitch, that way he too little, bruh, he lame as fuck. Screaming clown, mama be my ally, bruh, you played it fuck. He just went out high, he in my shit, little bruh, he fiending out. Slippers counting, if a nigga slut, then they gon' take me out. In my city, drop a rap, nigga, that boost your ratings up. Everything I did for you, nigga, I did it out of love. Brother know I'm paranoid, he still for me, we cut his stone. Could've bought a foreign, all this lean I'm pouring in my lungs. Styrofoam, fuck the nigga up, I had to quit a cup. Money junkie, put it in a bottle, how you save it up. Cut the live, walk it out the media and slide. In the studio right now with a killer, that what the vibe is. Look at how I shook, but they ain't think I was gon' shake. Can't wait to pop my shit, can't wait to put it in they face. I ain't even pulled it, had it pulled. 50 round extended on it, glitch, all we know. They can't wait to see a nigga come. He still the same little nigga from the motherfucking old. Bring the love to the trenches, part this bitch and jump out with that pump. Seen a nigga bad for his life, he should've just gave it up. Gossip like a bitch, that way he too little, bruh, he lame as fuck. Screaming clown, mama be my ally, bruh, you played it fuck. He just went out high, he in my shit, little bruh, he fiending out. Slippers counting.
Whether it was a robbery gone wrong or retaliation for an altercation he may not have even been involved in, the result is the same. Another young black man with potential cut down before his time. Do you think this was an armed robbery or targeted shooting? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Also, click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this.